and it's take two. Take two. Let's see if we can make things happen this time. So good afternoon, or no, good evening everybody. Today, hopefully, if people can see, I'm going to show you how to make the Zippy keeper. And as I say, hopefully you'll get another notification to say that I am live. But you never know, it may not happen. So I'll just wait and see. Perhaps it's because of the fog. There's one person watching, don't know who that might be. So I wonder if Lindsay can see me now. I finished the other one. There's a wow gone up and a love. So perhaps there's more people than I can see. Let's have a look. See if anybody, oh, right, no, that's the old one. Live. Right. Right. Oh, it says all the same people as before. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Let's just have a look. So we will go off of there. That video has ended. So let's see. Here we go. Here we go again. Back again. Oh, lovely. That is much better. Well, on my screen it's telling me there's 4 people. However, there are more. So, hello Shirley, hello Heather, hello Linda, hello Vivian, hello Nikki, hello Catherine, hello Dorothy, and Lorraine, and Caroline, and Barbara. Oh, I don't know what's going on. So, we are definitely on the So Totally Trisha page. I am not going to share it to the, let's see, the group. Otherwise, who knows what might happen, like it did yesterday. What I might have to do, because I am going to have a giveaway, should I be able to see all the names here. There's names I can see, but the giveaway is a charm pack. And the charm pack today is, and I haven't had these in stock, but Moda sent me this one, and I thought I'm going to give it away. So it is called Peppermint Bark, and the colours are sort of quite different really. So we have greens, reds, a little bit, yeah, I'm still not getting any comments, but never mind. So by the time, oh, there's a little Christmas tree in there I can see. Ah, so the Christmas tree is on. Can you see it? Oh, shining through. There it is. Oh, it's rather lovely. Look at that. So peppermint bark. Oh, I suppose, yes. And then some little sprigs. I won't go through it all, but you can see it's rather nice being basic grey. So there's your greens, there's your candy stripe, there's your Christmas trees as well on there. So it's on a different colour background because we saw another one here, didn't we? So really nice, and that will go away to somebody who is watching on the live. Now hopefully comments will come through at some point, and then I'll be able to scroll through. But if not, what I will do, I'm the wrong way round as well. That's bad. Now let me just have a look. Perhaps I didn't do all of this. That's better. That's better. I'm the right way round now. So let's just see if the comments, no comments as such. And it tells me there's not many people watching, but I know there are. So there it is. Much better to see it the right way round. So let's just, oh, that's that dropped off again. So no, it's not telling me anymore. What I'll do, I will, people may have to watch it after it's finished, and I will post it to the page so that you can see through it. But I will show you, let's see, well, let's put that just there. What I'm going to make or demonstrate to you tonight is the Zippy keeper. Now I think this was the second one I showed you. So I will have the PDF, and I know loads of you have bought it already, and the kit, so you'll be able to make this. And you can see by this one, I didn't get all the zips on the same side, so I've got zips on this side on the outside one, zips on this side here, and zips on this side on this one. You can have them all in the same position, but you just watch when you're putting them together. Excuse me, right at the very end. So that's what we're going to make. Now I have started a little bit because I thought there's some more boring bits than others. I mean, it's nice to do. It's a lovely make actually. But for you to sit and watch me just quilting, can you see how I've quilted across it all? And all I've done is cross-hatched. And when we cross-hatch, all you need to do, if you want to draw the lines and then stitch on them, or you can just eyeball it and get your lines on there, or do something completely different. So there is on there. Now the one I've started today, I've done the quilting already, and it's in the, you can see that a little bit better, can't you? So I've quilted all across there. Now this is the red option on the website, and this one is the the original one in the henna bright. So I put that in henna bright. This red one is, let's see, so I've just done the outer bit and I'll just explain that, but that is going to be the outside of the red one, and there will be, the pockets will be in this colour, and it will also, I'm going to show you how to make one, it will also be in the floral and the red and white. So all your pockets will be made from these three fabrics, and I've made one already so that you can see what it's like, and it's how you get to that point with the lining and no raw edges. Oh, we've got a lot more people coming on now, so hopefully comments will start to appear, but you never know. So this one is the red option, and then the aqua option is this one. So in the aqua, the pockets will be in those beautiful colour, don't you think? The pockets are in those three colours, and then the outer fabric is this one. Rather nice. I like it, and I hope you do too. So I'll just show you the whole length of this so you can see what a beautiful fabric that is. So that's the aqua option with those three fabrics, and that side is the outer. So the kits will include everything you need to make the whole of it. So you'll get wadding as well. I've put H640 in these. The original ones had the fusible fleece. This is fusible also, but I have run out of my fusible fleece. So you'll get the wadding, and you will get the calico lining, and for the pockets, and the lining for, no, that's the pocket as well, but you get the lining for the inside, which is here. So there's the inner, and there's the outer. That's the outer fabric for the red one, and you'll get the self-cover button and the fabric for the tab as well. So we'll pop that over there, and you will have 6 zips. I've got 2 here just to make the pocket that I am working on. Let's just see if anybody else has commented here. Caroline, Barbara, no. Let's see. Let's go back again. Now playing. Please, please, please. Oh, 71 comments, and I can't. Oh, here we are. Oh, for goodness sake, isn't this just... So, let's have a look. Oh, let's start it. It's just all going rubbish. It is all just going rubbish. Let's see. So there's Shirley, Janet, Ellen. Keep coming. Absolutely. Thank you, Lindsay. Keep coming to everyone. She says, at some point I will be able to see them. Yeah, the aqua is beautiful. You also love the aqua. Evening, Jan. Everyone's cold. I'm cold today. Love the red and the aqua. Well, I haven't really done very much at all with the One Fine Day fabrics, and they are beautiful. So I just went and selected four for two of those, so that you could see exactly what they were. Now in the original kit, that's the outer fabric there, and then the three fabrics, they're lovely and bright, and these will have, the zips for these will also be bright. So there are your inner pockets, that's your outer, and as I say, the zips will be coloured, so there will be something like red, yellow, purple, green, blue and orange probably. Could be, yes, I think that's what they are. So they will all go with this one. The other ones, the aqua and the red, will have white zips, but you'll have the pattern fabric on the inside. So let me show you, and hopefully by the time I've finished demonstrating, I should be able to see some comments. Let's see, I mean, even it's even frozen on here. Let's see, let's go back again and come back in. Now playing, now playing. Jules, yes. Oh, hello, Angela and Jennifer and Christine. It isn't very reliable today, is it? Jean Ann, hello, you keep losing me. Well, you lost me once because, what was that saying? Oh, right, yeah, that's nothing really. Okay, so it's not even giving me all the comments here. So what I'll do with the giveaway, after we've finished, I will look through them all or scroll through them, and I will get Martin to just put his finger onto the screen to select somebody, and I'll let you know tomorrow before we start the fabric sale. So let's see, which one shall we use? I think I'll use this one. I'll do that one another day because, oh no, perhaps we'll use this, shall we? It is rather beautiful. So I have got, no, let me start first of all. So with the outer piece, as I said, because it's purely quilting, so a bit of, yes, there's a bit of thread on there. Because it's purely the quilting, and I didn't want you to sit and watch me quilting that, all you need to do, and I did have another, yes, I've got another bit of wadding here. So there's the wadding, it is fusible on one side, so you want that dotty side to go, let's see, to go against, let's put it here, the wrong side of this one, so the wrong side of the fabric. And you will just align all those pieces and then iron onto, with steam, onto the fabric, so that the wadding is then fused to the wadding. The fabric's fused to the wadding, that's right. Then all I did was diagonally cross hatch. So I got myself a ruler and I just did that first diagonal line, and then all I did was do parallel diagonal lines all the way along the strip and down here, and then I quilted the other way. So it's just a case of just stitching across there. If you just want to do straight lines, absolutely fine. If you want to leave it without any quilting at all, absolutely fine. Now one end I have put, and I don't know if I did on the original. Let's see, no I didn't. So on the original one, we've got square flap here. On this one, I've rounded the corners. So all we need to do, I've just rounded those. You can do that or not, doesn't really matter. But all I did there, once I'd fused the fabric, I put the lining with it as well, so that I could then fold that together, line that up here at the edge, and then I just cut, but by all means use something circular and draw yourself a curved line there, and then trim off through all the layers, and that will then give you a nice curved edge along the top. Absolutely fine if you don't, but it does give it a nice effect by doing that. Then when I had quilted all of this, I just put my wadding, my long piece, which I can't find, no I didn't bring a long piece up, so I just put my wadding right sides together, and then I stitched all the way around, but I did leave a gap about in the center of one of the long sides. Then I clipped off these corner points at the end turned it through to the right side, pressed it all, and then I just top stitched all the way around the outer edge, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and that just closes the gap and top stitches all around. So there you have your piece. So that's your finished outer. Now I was thinking when this was made, because it does look quite pretty, what you could do if you wanted to make a little pouch, if your machine will go through, because it's not too thick, but you could just sew through both layers up the sides, and you got yourself a little bag, a little pouch. That would look quite nice, I think. The other thing you'll have in there, which I just thought, is your button, your self-cover button. Oh, which I've thrown on the floor. Where's it gone? Oh, I shall have to find that in a minute. But the a self-cover button that will go with the fabric. So we'll pop that down, and I will show you how to make your pouch. So I did do one just a few minutes earlier, and I've got my zips at each end, so you can basically open, at the moment, open both ends, and you can see right through. So it's all fully lined, no raw edges. In fact, let's turn it the whole way through. So no raw edges, and I forgot to do something, so I had to do a little bit of unpicking, but I will remember now. So there you are, all fully lined, no raw edges, and we'll turn it back through. And you're going to make, in the kit or for yourself, 3 of these double-ended pockets. And you might want to do something else with just these without putting them into an outer. But let's just zip that up and zip that up. So we have a double-ended pouch, which in the end what we're going to do is fold that in half, line up those zip tops, find the center down here, and that is where we are going to stitch across to hold them together. So that is one little double pouch without, and it is quite straightforward. The instructions will show you exactly how to do it, but for some of you, I know you much prefer to have a video so that you can follow along, pause when you want to, and then start again. So let's have a look. So all you need for each little pouch, or the double-ended pouch, is 2 pieces of your lining fabric and 2 pieces of your outer fabric and 2 zips. 2 zips. So you can have anything from 8 inch upwards, because we'll trim it back. And I think there's only one point where it is easier to have a longer zip when you open to do the top stitching along the side of the zip. So let's begin, shall we? Let me turn down this light, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I know it's better. So let's go down here and see what you can see. Oh, a little bit glary. Take it down one more. That's better. I need just a little bit of light. Otherwise I can't see what I'm doing either. So I've got my 2 pieces, my 2 outer pieces, as I've said, and my 2 lining pieces. Now, as I said, I won't do the measurements because a lot of you have bought the instructions already, and it would be unfair on you. When we have the new group, there will be instructions for all of you anyway, and so I shall divulge all measurements every time. So what we normally do with a zip, so let's pop 1 lining piece and 1 outer piece out of the way, and so we'll start off with just 2, an outer piece and a lining piece. So we want to have the zip pull. I like to put we do it whichever way you like, but I like to put, and I usually put this in the instructions, if you have your zip on the table or on the needle bed with the zip pull facing upwards, so that's facing up there, and then you take your outer fabric and place that right side down. So right sides together. And if you've got a zip that's longer at each end, it is also good to, let's have a, it's good to center it. So you've got a bit of, well, not absolutely center, but just have the zip pull outside away as an excess, and the other end of the zip as well. So I'm just going to put a pin just to hold that first little bit, because underneath this we're going to make a zip sandwich. I'm going to put the lining fabric underneath, and then I'm going to line up, let's turn it this way like this, I'm going to line up the zip with the top of the fabric. So we're working on the short sides, so let's line that zip up, and we will line up the outer fabric as well, so that that is all aligned together. Now if you want to put, I'm just going to take this pin out and replace it so it's through the lining fabric as well, so that's held together. If you want to put pins along here, absolutely fine, or clips to hold it together. But as you know, I like to work by starting off, but I like to make sure it's aligned as I go. So I've often, you'll see me, I lift up my fabric, make sure the zip is on, aligned at the edge of the lining fabric, and then put that down and just put my finger on it to hold it together. So let's just see if we can come in a little, that's it, so that you can see there. Now always remember, this is, it goes against the grain. Normally when we put a zip in, we start at the edge of the fabric, but we're not going to start at the edge of the fabric. We're going to start 1/2 inch in from the end of the fabric. So let's see if I can just, that's it, okay. So we're not starting here, we are starting roughly 1/2 inch. You don't want to do it an inch, that's too far. 1/4 inch is not far enough, so just roughly guess or measure 1/2 inch from the end there. So we're working with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to just use a standard stitch length, about 2.5, so whenever you turn your machine on, it will come up to your standard. So I have actually, I'm going to either put your zipper foot on, or what I love to do, I've moved my needle all the way, let's just put that behind there, all the way to the left. So my needle, I'm using my standard foot, but I've just moved my needle here all the way to the left, and I'm using this standard foot instead of a zipper foot. But if you like to use your zipper foot, pop that on, and then we can stitch away. So the, oh, let's just feel that there, that's it. So the side, the left side of my foot is right up against the zipper coil, and I'll keep my fingers on here, and we'll just stitch across, or stitch down here. And I am going to stop 1/2 inch from the end. I can see I've stopped there. So before I do anything else, what I'll show you, I have stopped, whoops, there. So I've stopped 1/2 inch from that end, and let's pop that in there. I started, so there's a flappy bit there. I've started in, whoops, that's it, we'll take this back a bit again now. There we are. So I've got little flaps. Let's move that up there. So I haven't stitched the whole way, and the same with the lining. I've got little flappy bits. So always remember that. We're always, with our zips today, going to leave 1/2 inch. We're only starting sewing 1/2 inch from the end. So now what we're going to do is top stitch. So we're going to open this up, the zip's there in the middle, and we're going to pull the lining underneath. So the lining's gone underneath my fabric here, and we can either press, or I'm going to pull that lining down, pull the fabric so it lines up with the edges, and I'm just going to finger crease along here. This is purely for speed, but let's just finger press there, and I can see that my lining and my outer fabric is lined up. So pull that down together. It just means you're not going to get a pleat on the underside here. And then I'm going to top stitch Again, from about 1/2 inch in, you can see that piece there, 1/2 inch in from where we started stitching to 1/2 inch from the end. So let's pop that under the machine foot, and obviously with your zipper foot on, or like I'm doing, I'm using my standard foot and just stitching across there. So let's just have a look at that. So that is just nicely top stitch across there, and on the back there's no puckers or pleats. So we'll trim those little bits off in a moment. So I've done one side. So I've got the zip on this edge here. I now want to have a zip, or no, I don't want yet. I want to put the other two pieces on the other side here. So I can see my zipper pull is facing up. So again, I'm going to put the outer fabric, so I'm lining it up with the opposite edge of the tape just here. So we'll line that up like that. And then I'm also looking at my edges here. If we have those edges of the outer fabric lined up, I know that's in the right place. So I'll pop a little pin just there for the time being. That holds it together. And then we'll look at the opposite edge and make sure that I am going to start from this end, but we just make sure that all lines up there. So I'll just hold that for a second. And in fact, I'll move that pin from there and put the pin here, because this is the important bit, because underneath here, we want to put our lining fabric. So here is our lining, and along the short edge, so there's my short edge of the lining. So I'm just going to place that together, line that up, and replace that pin. So I know now that that all lines up beautifully there. And then, as I say, or you can pin all those 3 layers together along the zip length, or as I do, I line it up as I go along. So again, don't forget 1/2 inch in from the edge. So I'm just going to make sure, that's it, my zip is lined up. That's it, the pin is pulling it out of position. The zip is lined up there. So I'm just going to pull that fabric down onto it as well to line that up. And the pin is out of the way, so I'm just going to go over the top of it, and let's just make sure that's it. And I'm going to start from about 1/2 inch in. There we are. So once that has started, I can now just make sure that my zip is totally aligned with my lining, and also the outer fabric on the top is also lined up now. And you can see I'm just pushing my fingers down on that to hold it. And remember, stop 1/2 inch from the end. Beautiful. So I have stopped 1/2 inch from the end. I'm now going to open that one out. Take that pin out first of all. So I've opened the top layer. There is my zip in the center, and I'm going to take my lining fabric here underneath so that it goes under this piece that we've just stitched. So this side I have got the lining and the outer, and this side here I've got the lining and the outer. So I'm going to do exactly the same as I did before, which is pull that lining fabric down, and then the outer fabric, we'll pull that down as well, line those raw edges up, and then just nail press or finger press along the edge of the zip. And that way there's going to be no pleating on the back. And again, there is my flap. So I'm going to start from that point about halfway in, and I'm just going to top stitch along this edge. So at the moment, and for a short while, it's going to look a little bit strange, isn't it? With too many pieces of fabric around. So there we are. We've got a nice back there. We've got our zip all in place. But what we want, so that's what our bag is going to look like that. And we've got the zip at one end, but we want the zip at the other end as well. So what we're going to do, we are going to roll this end up here. Just roll that piece up so it's out of the way. Don't need to pin it out of the way, it can just sit there. And then I'm going to take the lining piece here. So there's the lining piece under here. I'm just going to take it underneath. So just flap that out. So I've got my lining to the left, I've got my rolled up piece there, and I've got my outer fabric here. So we'll get our second zip, and we always have the zip pull going onto the right side of the fabric. So this time I'm going to place it down. So I'm placing the zip right side down onto the outer fabric. And again, I'm going to pin, because I want this to stay lined up. So I'm going to pin there, and then I'm going to go to this end. As you see, there's the zipper pull, face down onto the outer fabric. And then I'm going to bring this piece of lining up and over. So bring that over. Let's turn this around here. So bring that over, and again, line it up with this edge here. So I can see, yep, that is pretty well lined up. So I'm just lining that little bit. I'm taking the pin out and putting it back in. So it just holds that piece together. So I know I've got the outer fabric underneath this time, but I've still got my zip sandwich. There's my lining, there's my zip, and there's my outer fabric. So again, 1/2 inch in from the edge, and I ought to just pin that a bit more straight. That's it, so it doesn't get in the way. And just make sure that's all lined up by either pinning beforehand or doing as I do. And again, there's the zip coil. I'm just, my presser foot needs to be just, the zip coil is just under there at the left. So you don't want your, if you've got your zipper foot on, that will just run along the side of it. So I'm just going to hold that together, and I'm going to work my way across here again. And when I get towards the end, 1/2 inch from the end, I'm going to stop. There we go. So take that pin out, and now I'm just going to turn this, you can either open your zip now or just turn it through and open the zip. Because what we're going to do, so let's just turn it through. We need to top stitch along here. So again, let's just pull that to the side. So now we've got a long bit here with the zip, and we've got another bit here. And opening the zip just makes that easier. So pull that down again. So I'm pulling it to the zip, and which is pulling the lining down, and then just nail press, finger press, just push that out. And we're going to top stitch along here as well. So 1/2 inch in, so where we finished our stitching, and we're just going to top stitch along here, and about 1/2 inch from the end. Okay, so let's just pull our zip up again, and what we have now is raw edges, and we have a tube, if you like, with a zip at each end. So we can see now, because we've got our zip pull facing up, so if I go to this end and pull my outer fabric up to the other edge of the zip tape, like so, and I've just lined up the edge of my outer fabric here, so those are lined up there, and then just move that along, and that should be lined up with my outer fabric, which it is there. So that's all nicely lined. So again, we'll pop a pin in here just to hold that together with our zip. So again, although the zip pulls up, the outer fabric is right side down onto it, so that's correct. And then with this end, we're going to make that zip sandwich, so that's going to go underneath. So I'm going underneath there and bring it there. So you can see I've taken it underneath the other zip, and then I'm just going to line that up with the outer fabric at the zip, like so. So I'm just replacing that pin again. So you can see what I have. I've got the lining fabric there. There is my zip, and there is the outer fabric. So again, let's just pop that down, and I'm just going to line up my lining fabric with the zip and pull the outer fabric down, take it under there, 1/2 inch in, mustn't forget that 1/2 inch in, that's a little bit more there. Okay, so 1/2 inch, and then once I've started and the needle's down, I'm just going to bring that zip and the outer fabric, and we'll just stitch across here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and don't forget again, 1/2 inch from the edge. Lovely. So again, we have got our flappy bits here. So flap, flap, okay, and it's not, and the lining as well, flap. We need those bits, they're going to help us. So again, we need to top stitch, so let's just turn that through to the right side, like so, and again, we'll open our zip out to make it easier. So we've already done that side, we need to do this side here. So let's just pop that down. Whoops, have I caught that? Oh, just pull that there. Just caught the lining there. Okay, so there I've got the piece that I need to top stitch. So again, I'm just pulling to this other end where the other zip is, and the same here. Just pull that up a little bit so that we can stitch. Make sure you don't stitch the other pieces, and pull that away from the zip itself. Finger press or nail press along there. Just double check, yes, that's all pulled away. What you don't want is the lining coming up to the zip, but that's all pulled away nicely. And then what we can do, 1/2 inch from the end or where we started stitching, I'm just going to stitch along the edge here, and we're going to stop 1/2 inch from the end, so that we have still got our flappy pieces. We've got our both sides there and both sides here. So let's just trim, there's some scissors, let's just trim a few of these bits of thread, because there will be little bits from where we stopped and started. That looks okay. So now I'm just going to zip that up, and what we have is a tube. We have a zip at this end, we have a zip at that end, like so. So let's just pop that down, and what we're going to do first of all is we are going to open our zip. So we're going to do one end to start with. What we're going to do first of all is stitch our lining fabric. So if we open the zip like so, and then I am going to flip that outer fabric that we left as a flap back, and I will actually put a pin in here to keep it out of the way. So we're pushing that outer fabric back, and then on the other side we want this, so I've got the outer fabric here pinned out the way, and then on the back piece we're going to pin that piece back and out of the way, because what you don't want to do is stitch through that. So I've got a pin in there, and then down here we could do the same, but I might just pin that back, and on this side here, oh, I haven't left as much, so I've stitched a little bit further than I wanted to there. So just unpick that a little bit, absolutely fine. We want that to be, I didn't leave 1/2 inch, which I should have done. So we are going to push that back, and then the other flappy bit on the other side, push that back, and so that you can see that's pushed out the way, and here it's out of the way. So we are going to match our zips pointing up. So the zip, there we are, is pointing upwards, line those up at the top, and then we're going to line up our lining fabric down here. So 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I need to move my, you take your zipper foot off or move it back to 5.5, and I'm going to, so my zip is facing upwards, so I'm just going to stitch over that, do a little reverse, and then I'm going to stitch right down. So at this end of the zip, I'm just going to fold that out so it's towards me. So the, can you see that the zip is sitting right on the top, the coil? So I'm pointing that towards me and just lining those. They can go, actually, you see my little lining pieces there, the zip can go over the top there and encapsulate. So make sure that fabric on the underneath is out of the way. You can of course always unpick it, but it's not the best thing to have to do. Okay, so we're coming down to this bit here, and I've got my zip around the lining fabric, and I'm going to stitch over there, little reverse, and cut. Okay, so I had undone my zip here. I also want to undo my zip here, and we're going to do the same thing. So undo the zip there, and again, I'm going to take my pins out now, because again here, we're going to line up the zips at the top. So okay, we've unzipped it, I'll just line that up, and then fold this outer fabric back, and the outer fabric on the back of it back as well. What we could do actually is put a pin through both, and then that will hold that out of the way. So my zips are facing up and aligned, my lining fabric is aligned, and then we just want to move out of the way this piece down here. So flip that back and flip that back as well. So when we pull it, whoops, we have got, oh that's not, I'm going to put a pin here through it both. So that's got my fabric out of the way there. That is not very good because that's going to come open. So let's just, that's better. So just make sure the lining fabric is pulled back on both sides. So I'm going to stitch here, but on this piece, so I'll start stitching, I'm going to leave a gap in my lining. So about halfway, 2 or 3 inches, and that's it, line those pieces up. And, whoops, there we go. So I would stitch onto the tape first of all, and then back. And remember to leave that gap. That's what I forgot to do earlier. Make sure, let me just turn that over. Make sure that outer fabric is flipped back. So we're just stitching through the lining. So down we go, little reverse, and cut, because I'm going to leave a gap to about here. So just shift it down, and just a little reverse there. And then this end again, just hold your zip out, line that fabric up, and it's going around, hopefully so, yeah. It's going over the top of my lining fabric, and we're going to stitch over that as well. So just reverse and cut. So now, oh, I've still got no comments, but never mind. So now I'm going to trim off the outside edge. Well, you will have, because you'll have had to do that, you will have pulled your zip open. So we've got the zip open here, and we've got the zip open here. I can open it a little bit more. So we can take these pins out as well, but we can clip off the excess pieces of the zip. Let's clip that thread. So that's clipped off. There's a bit of, there we are. So clip that side, that can go back just to the edge of the lining. So that's clipped off as well. And then this one down here, we can clip that one as well. So we'll take that pin out. And so there we have, still got a little bit of work to do, but it is all coming together. So now we've got our lining pieces done, And what we want to do now is turn it to the other side. But what we will do, because we need these two outer pieces to be stitched together, when you look at it here, this needs to be encapsulated with the other side. So we are going to flip just one layer over onto, so just turn it to the wrong side, but what you'll have is two of your outer layers have now come together, and then your lining is already stitched together. You see that stitch line there. So you've got a piece where you've got these two pieces which need stitching. So we have left our gaps, which is great. So now with our pieces like so tube, we can now look at where the outer fabric is. So the outer fabric, can you see where we've left those flappy bits? They actually come up there, so they point upwards and they go over where we stop stitching the zip. So there's the zip. Just put your outer fabric on the top, and then underneath you'll do exactly the same. So the fabric is going up. So in actual fact, it's encapsulating the zip there. So pin if you would like to, but I will just, so you've got to keep this outer bit out of the way. So I will just pin that just so I can show you more easily. So just pin those together. As I say, the fabric is covering over the previous, the lining edge, and it's going up there as well. And then this will just come together. Can you see there? And then at this end, there's our bit of zip. So that just goes in there. Those two fabrics close around it, and we can put a pin in here. Let's put a pin there. So that all lines up really beautifully. So as I say, what we're going to do, I'm going to put this down under the machine, but I'm going to make sure my lining is out of the way. So it's probably easier to do it, you know, like that. Just sort of pull it up a bit so this is out of the way, so that we can just stitch. And I would start from the lining. So follow on from the lining stitches. Let's just go down there. So my lining stitching is, this is my lining. If I start stitching there, and then I'm not going to stitch over the pin, but I can put my finger in here just to make sure that's lined up and also it's even. So let's just pull that. So I'm just going to pull that pin out before I get to it. So I've gone over there, and then I'll put my hand in each side here so that I can sew down. So I'm pulling, can you see I'm pulling that lining piece out of the way. So down the side we go, and then just open that up, because it's on basically a curve, it's on a tube, it won't just lay flat. So just pull that around, so you're pulling it as flat as you can, and that all lines up beautifully there. And then when we get to the other end, the zip is here, and I'm just going to stitch over that and along a few parts of the lining fabric as well, so it's really nice and secure. So there's our first side, so that's all stitched all the way around there. So then we can go to the other side and do exactly the same. So here is my top piece. So the zip's here, looks all a bit flappy, doesn't it? So lay the top piece over the zip again, and on the other side we'll lay that and line that up as well. So there are our fabrics, and covering over the zip part, so we will pop a pin in there and then just roll that around down to the other end, and we can do exactly the same there. So the fabric automatically just lays flat on both sides, traps the zip inside, and just makes it all very, very neat. I didn't know when I was making the first one that was going to happen, but it just lays down so beautifully and easily. So we'll start from whichever end. I'll start here, and I've got the rest of it on the top there, but I'm stitching just to the side. So again, start on your lining, How are we doing? Oh, very good. So on the lining, it's a shame that I haven't been able to see any comments, but really irritating, but that's how it goes. So I'm just stitching down there and keep opening it up so that I can stitch, making sure this is lined up. So that was a little bit out there. Just pull that over and stitch all the way down here, and then just pull that over a little bit more, and we're just coming over the end piece now, which is where the zip is, and onto the first part of my lining stitching. Whoops. Okay, so there we are. Now I'm just going to trim those little bits, a little bit there. We can move that back now, not too close in. There we go. So here we go. So I've stitched all the lining, almost like circular really. I've stitched all these sides of the outer piece as well. So all we need to do now is find our lining opening. So there is our lining opening, and I'm just going to go back a little bit more so you see. So I've got the lining opening here. Get my finger in there, and I'm going to head for the zip opening. So I'm just going to put my fingers in there, going towards a zip. So then I'm going to go through the zip as well. So just push that all in like so, and pull that out there, and this one in here, because there's another zip opening up this end. So there's a zip, and there's a zip. So we can pull that at each end. The lining, I mean the outer fabric's inside, but I know that's going to be all right. So before I turn it completely to the other side, let's just trim off a few threads in here. So there's one lot, and there's another lot. So this is where we stopped stitching. Get that little bit there, a little bit more. And then at this other end, perhaps we'll find a little bit here. Yeah, there we go. And there we go. So before I turn it all the way through, I'm just going to close this gap here. So I'm just going to tuck my fingers in and finger press along there, just to that one side, and then the other side as well. Just look to see that there's about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance there, and just run my nails along so that then I can just pull that together. I'm just going to stitch that closed. So just take that down here and stitch quite close to the edge. I can see that that is nicely aligned, so that we can just close that gap. Just make sure, I did make sure that the outer fabric was pushed in a bit further, because we didn't want to stitch through that as well. So a little bit of few threads there. So that's nice and neat. That's our join. So now let's just open this zip even more. Now I can turn it all the way through to the right side. So I'm just putting my hand in there, pushing it through, and we can now just push my finger into those corners where the zip is. Just push your fingers up there. Another bit of thread there, I think. Yeah, so we'll trim that. And then at the other end here, just push that up, and where the zip pull is, just push that up and zip it up and zip it up, and there we have our double-ended zipped tube. So I'm just going to put my hand in there just to, and I'm just pushing the lining out to these edges, because I'm going to give it a press. So push it out to that side as well, and let's open this up. It just makes it neater for when we pop it into our outer. So the main main thing to know how to do is to actually make these double-ended pouches, these double zipped pouch. So I'm just going to just take it over to the ironing board here, like so, and I'm just going to just give that a nice press, because it does look so much better once it's pressed, but it also makes it easier for you to find that center seam. So we'll just zip that up now, and I'll get my other one here. So let's just give that another press as well. So this is the one I made earlier. I can feel something there, so whether, now you need the lining, oh, that's it. You need that lining to be out to the edges, because if it isn't, when we come to stitch it, it's going to be slightly funny on the inside. So I can feel that one's okay. And then, so normally we're going to have 3. Oh, you will have 3. That's zipped up. Oh, I've done the zips at opposite ends, never mind. So we're going to fold this in half, line up those zips at the top, and then I'm just going to give it a press. So press there, so that's going to give me a crease, and the same here, line that up so that those zips are level, and then we'll just give that a press along the bottom there. And I don't want it to be warm, because what I want to do is make a mark. I'm going to draw. It's a bit warm, so hopefully, let's just bring something closer in. There we go. No, that away. So I'm going to get a ruler, and where that crease is, I'm going to draw a line. So there is my crease. Pop my ruler in there. I'm just using a friction pen to just draw across here. So there's my line, like so, and I'll draw another one along here. Now, if it's too warm, let's just put that there. You can measure each side just to make sure it's a straight line, or draw on that crease. But this is going to iron out because it's heat erasable. So I've drawn a line across there and a line across there. Now I also need to take my outer here, and what we'll do when we've got 3, I'm going to draw on there, but I've only got 2 at the moment. Let's just give that a little bit of a cut. Right, so I've only got 2 pouches, but when you've got 3, what you'll do is just offer those up to the front. Okay, so I've offered them up there, and then just to see that that is going to wrap around like so. So from the side, this is how I gauged it. So I've got there's about an inch higher at the front. That's not there. So it's about an inch higher there. So what I did then is I'm going to put a pin just where this one comes to, or my very first one. For you, there will probably be a third one there, but I'm going to do one just there, and that's going to be this pouch here. So as long as there's enough excess here, absolutely fine. And then what I'm going to do is to mark across here. So that happens to be, what does it happen to be? Just about 6 1/4 inches. So just make sure with your ruler that that is absolutely straight. That's better. So that's straight, and then I can draw a line from where this pin is. So I'm going to draw a line the whole way across, like so, and even coming out at those edges, because we want to see those edges. So I've drawn my line like so, and whoops, there go. So then what I should do is place my pouch centrally on here, and you can see my line that I've drawn on here lines up with the line that comes on this piece, and I can see that is about centrally. I'm going to pin that there. I'm not going to stitch it, but I'm just going to pin it so that you can see exactly what lines up, and then what you will be able to do. So because I need to make that third one, so all I've done is I've lined that line so it lines up with the one coming out here and down here, and then I would just stitch along that line, reversing at the beginning and the end. If I just put my pin as if I've stitched it like so, and pin that one. So now that will be attached. So what I would do then is flip that the other side, and what I would have had is, which I haven't done, but I'll have another line. Just pretend I've drawn that one in. I shall erase it, but what we'll do is then put this one on the top there, lining up the line here and here, and also lining up these pouches as well so that they line up with each other, and then stitch along there. So I could, in fact, there's a pin, I'll put another pin in here and another pin in here as if I had stitched it, and then you'll be able to see exactly. So you've got the two there. You may very well have another line here for your third one, but that way you can see they are then attached. Whoops, doesn't look good. That's attached, and we fold that up like so. The flap comes over, and you can affix your button just there, and that's it, all done. So it was very much about making that pouch, but once you're doing it yourself, it will all come clear, because you'll be able to see what needs to go where. But just remember, don't start stitching right at the edge. So ½ inch in each time. So that's the main thing to think. ½ inch in every time you're stitching on the zip, whether it's top stitching or securing the zip, it needs to be ½ inch in. But that is it. Now, I haven't seen a single comment all evening, and nothing has come up here, so it's really been frustrating. But hopefully, let me have a look on here, see if no, absolutely nothing on here either. It says I've been live for 11 minutes. Really? Okay, now playing. Let's just have a look. Oh, I can see me now. Oh, there's a few more here. Oh, so Carol likes it. Sheena, lovely. Ellen, I'm just sorry your comments didn't come up on the screen. Oh, lovely. Vanessa likes it. Tony, brilliant. And Sheena and Jill, Beverly, Alison, Caroline. So I can't even scroll back to all of them there as well. So what I'm going to have to do, all you lovely people that have been watching, Carol, Jeeta, thank you, and Joanne's watching, and Lorraine, and Lorna. Oh, lovely. Yeah, watch it from the start. I have deleted the first one. This was take 2. Anna, I always have some use for it, I must admit. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. You often talk to yourself, Sue. Yeah. Well, I do. Oh, and another Sue. Oh, thank you. No, have a look from the beginning. Give it a go. It really is well worth it. And once, I know you are also clever at changing things around a little, try doing different sizes. Make it bigger. Possibly not smaller. It'd be quite cute smaller. But, oh, there's Aurora as well. Hello. And thank you. I've been live. I'm not seeing... Oh, you're not seeing anybody's, Caroline. I haven't seen a single comment, only on my phone, and they're just coming up now. Oh, so thank you, Anna and Jackie and Jules and Maxine and Pamela. Yeah, definitely give it a go. I know it is a shame. It's just looking on my phone, and I don't like looking on the phone and not looking at you there, but oh, and a useful gift. So you love it. Definitely want to buy. I've recovered from. Oh yes. Well, I shall have it on the website. Oh, thanks, Tracy. And thank you, Janet. So the PDF, as you know, is already on the website. There's kits in the 3 colours, and it's £16 for a kit. Everything's in it. Oh, Brenda, thank you. Expecting. Oh, bless you. So let me just remind you quickly. Let's have a look. Can I see them all? So the red one. So this is the red option, and there's 1, 2, 3. So the third option, you've got 1, 2. They're your 3 pockets. 3 pockets in the red with the lovely red fabric on the outside. Excuse me. And the aqua option is this one, where you have those 3 beautiful colours there. Beautiful aqua with your outer fabric there. They just work so well. Well, they do the same range, that's why. So those are the aqua option, and then you can see the colours here. This is your Henna Brights, which was the original one that we took on Create and Craft, and it has beautiful turquoisey purple, yellow, and purpley pinky orange. You wouldn't think the colours go together, but it's so bright and breezy, and then with your outer that colour. And this option has coloured zips, whereas the other 2 have white zips. So all quite pretty if you fancy one. But at least now I've shown you how to make, and for those of you that already got instructions, I hope it's helpful. And you can, oops, I'm looking for my phone now, there it is. And so you'll be able to crack on. Low power mode, that's it. Oh, thank you, Carol. Printed set of instructions, they will indeed. So yes, you get all the fabric and wadding and button to make it, so you'll be able to complete it, and also the printed instructions as well, all within the kit. So you make your choice. You don't have to buy. You might have enough. A demo, you're right, Gita. That's why, that's my intention for the future, that I will be demonstrating always, so you know how to make it. And as I say, sometimes you know, when it's free ones, I will just give you all of the measurements as well. It just seems a little bit unfair if I give all the measurements now when people have just bought them, you know, for money, whether it be from Create and Craft or from myself. So, you know, I like to protect everybody. So yes, so tomorrow, so what I'll do, yeah, that was the other thing. When I finish, when I go down, one of you lucky watchers tonight will receive this. So I'll have a look back on the pad. Hopefully I'll be able to see all the comments, so that I'll either write the names and put them in a hat, or I'll just scroll down and get Martin to pick a name. So that is for one lucky person tonight. And tomorrow I will do at 6:30 again. I will do the Christmas fabric sale with embellishments. So I shall have ribbons, Christmassy buttons, some really lovely Christmassy buttons, and there's some nice ribbons with Christmas trees, silver Christmas trees. Can't remember what else, but there's quite a lot of bits and pieces. So 6:30 on this page. Now, I'm saying that now, if I can't see any comments, it will not work, will it? What do I do then? So I think it might mean a load of website input, but I don't know. We'll hope then that actually, oops, wrong side. I've got thread on me everywhere, I tell you. Yeah, hopefully tomorrow, fingers crossed, we'll be fine, because no comments, I won't be able to do it, will I? But however, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll enjoy my dinner in a moment, a little bit late, but hey ho. And I'll see you tomorrow at 6:30. Thank you and bye for now.